Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with my reading wrap up for the month of March, and if I'm totally honest, I didn't think I was gonna have a reading wrap up because I was in a horrible reading slump, and then the one book I was reading took me like 3 weeks to finish. Not because the book was bad, but I was in such a horrible reading slump, I wasn't reading at all. But then I finally got out of the reading slump with 10 days left in the month, thank goodness, and here we are now. So before I get to talking about the books I read in March, I want to give a little update real quick. So if you go back a few videos on my channel, then you'll see my tier ranking books I read in February, which I have now deleted, so it's not there, but I had that up and the audio was completely messed up. So if you saw that, the video has since been deleted, but the audio was all fixed for that, so do not worry. Also, I'm doing a voiceover of some commentary, not really commentary, I'm doing the commentary now actually. I'm doing a voiceover for just a video instead because I think it's easier. I have like what I have written about the books, so it'll be easier for me to get through them, and so the video won't be super long, so you can hear about the books I read in March, so it's not super long. But that's all I have to say for the introduction, so let's get into the video. So the first book I read in March was All In by Emma Scott, which is the second book in the Full Tale All In duet. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you a single thing about this book because it would spoil the first book in the duology, and I don't want to do that. But I definitely recommend Full Tilt, which is the first book. I gave that one 5 stars. I read that in February. I definitely recommend All In. I gave that 4 stars. And I just couldn't give this one any higher because the first book just was my absolute favorite. I gave it 5 stars like I said. And yeah, so I'm sorry I can't tell you anything about this one, but I definitely recommend this duet. So the next book I read was Rumble Buttercup by Matthew Gray Gubler, which is actually a picture book, children's book, whatever you want to call it. The only explanation I have for this one is Matthew Gray Gubler. That's all I have to say. I'm just kidding. So I'm going to describe this in the best way possible. Okay, so Rumple is the little character in this book, and he is a funny looking fella. He has 5 crooked teeth, just 3 strands of hair, green skin, and his left foot is slightly bigger than his right. And honestly, he's kind of a weirdo. So him and his pal, Candy Corn Carl, learn about themselves and finding out how everyone belongs. So this book was so cute, so wholesome, and the end of this was the most wholesome scenario ever. And yeah, so I gave this 5 stars. Not that I think I would have rated this book like I just rated it 5 stars. That's all I have to say for this. Honestly, I genuinely have like no explanation whatsoever, but I definitely recommend this. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Yes, everyone can read picture books. Yes, it's true. It is true. So the next book I read was Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. I did read a couple poetry, and then again I read that picture book right at the beginning. Not right at really the beginning, like literally 10-ish days ago. So I can't give like super deep descriptions of them just because they're pretty short books. Not that you can't really describe poetry. I'm not the best at it, so I'm going to try my hardest to describe this here. But I just want to preface, I love Amanda Gorman. I think she's a wonderful author, a wonderful poet, wonderful person. But I did end up giving this 3.75 stars, which I want to preface also, that isn't bad. I just need to clarify that. 3.75 stars is not bad for me, especially poetry, because not that I don't like poetry, I love poetry, but it's hard to rate poetry because there's not like just one simple thing going on. Sometimes there is, but there's a lot of different subtopics and topics that are being discussed. So if I hated like half the book of poetry and then I loved the other half, it's hard to rate that just because there's different parts to poetry, if that makes any sense. But I just wanted to say that beforehand, like 3.75 stars is not bad. I loved this book. I loved some parts of it, but I didn't love all parts of it, and that's why it wasn't rated any higher than the 3.75. But I just wanted to mention all that stuff so I can finally tell you about this book. So this book is a poetry collection that explores themes of grief, identity, and memory, as well as exploring the topic of the early stages of COVID, like when we were all experiencing the beginning of COVID. I do think this book was wonderful. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I definitely will still recommend this to literally anyone that asks me to recommend a poetry book or any type of poetry that covers the topics that this group of poetry did. But I think she did this very wonderful, by the way. Just need to clarify. I just wanted to be sure. So I read another poetry book collection, which was The Sun Will Rise and So Will We by Janae Cecilia. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. Yeah, another poetry book. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I might rate it lower now, but so I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what this was supposed to be about. The first 30 pages, like, they seem very organized, and I thought I was just going to enjoy it at first. I liked the way it was going in the first 30 pages, but then it kind of got, I don't know how to say this. It may sound a little bit harsh, but it sounded like the type of, like, situation where you need to turn in a poetry assignment, but then instead of turning the assignment, you went onto Instagram and you saw a bunch of Instagram poetry, and you just, like, wrote a bunch of poetry based off for these quotes and, like, Instagram poetry you saw. But yeah, again, thinking of it now, and you turned that in for your assignment, if that makes any sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you. So thinking of it now, I would honestly probably, again, give this a lower rating, but I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't even think I can tell you what this was supposed to be about. I apologize, but I genuinely, like, do not have any idea what this was supposed to be about at all. Yeah, I can't. So I finally found a book that I actually like this month. Not that I didn't like any of the other ones, I'm just kidding. But, so I love this book. That is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I have to read the rest of the trilogy as soon as possible and before the show comes out. I think it's gonna be a little series on Prime Video, I'm pretty sure. I'm very excited for it. I gave this book 4 stars. I'm definitely Team Conrad, if anyone is wondering. But this book is about Belly, and each summer since she was born, they've been going to Cousin's beach house. And no, I'm not talking about a cousin. Like, they're going to this place called Cousins, and there's a beach house. They go to this beach house every summer. And all of her favorite people are there. Her mom's best friend, Susanna, and Susanna's sons, Jeremiah and Conrad. And she is the same age as Conrad, and they have been super close since they were born, basically. Think of the kissing booth situation. You know what I'm talking about? Those two, they were, like, coincidentally born at the same time on the same day. Like, they have been that close. I don't think they were born at the same time on the same day, but think of, like, how close those two are. And then there's Conrad, and he's older. I think he's a year and a half older than Belly is. So Belly has been crushing on Conrad for as long as she can remember, and honestly, I don't blame her. I think we can all agree Conrad is the one to crush on. Not that Jeremiah isn't lovely, but I'm Team Conrad all the way, and I will keep on saying that. So things get a bit complicated for Belly, but if there's one thing that she knows, it's that her heart belongs to Mr. Conrad. I love this book. I loved it so much. I think you need to read it as soon as possible, and I genuinely cannot wait to see the series and read the rest of the trilogy. I need to buy the rest of the trilogy ASAP, but I also put myself on a book buying ban. So we'll have to figure that out. Okay, so I haven't finished this book yet because when I'm filming this, it's March 30th. And I'm about 50% through with this book. It's Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I think I'm going to finish it today or tomorrow, so I have tomorrow to finish it too. If I finish it in April, then I'll just add it there. But I'm adding it now because although I'm filming it early, it's going to be uploaded tomorrow or the day after, so it'll either be the 1st of April or the last day of March. And I'm going to finish it. I will finish it. There's a 90% chance I will finish it. Okay, so Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover follows our two main characters, Kenna, and Ledger. So our main girl, Kenna, just got out of prison where she served 5 years due to a tragic mistake. Kenna decided to return to the town where it all went wrong in hopes of reuniting with her daughter, who is now 4 years old. And something happens, and, well, not something happens. It's a however situation. However, everyone in her daughter's life is determined to keep Kenna out of it, except Ledger Ward. So Ledger Ward is a local bar owner and one of the small few who still has a connection to Kenna's daughter. However, if anyone finds out that Ledger is becoming a small part of Kenna's life, then he would risk losing the trust of everyone important to not only him, but to Kenna as well. Y'all, this book is so good. If I don't end up giving this at least a 4.5. I'll be surprised. I'll be extremely surprised if I don't give it 5 stars, because that's what this book deserves. I love this book so much right now. I'm not going to say any more than that. That's kind of just like what the synopsis is on the back, just me like adding a little bit of difference in there, because I don't want to accidentally spoil it, because again, I haven't finished it, so I don't know what would be considered a spoiler. But I love this book so far, and I definitely recommend you read it ASAP, because it is so good. Okay guys, so that is going to be the end of this video. This video is only 10 minutes long. I cannot believe it. I'm talking like 3 times the speed I normally am. Crazy. Okay, so this is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to, it's optional, but I definitely recommend that you still do it, because you will be getting a little bit more book content after this, maybe some more Minecraft content. I'm not planning on any Bedwars content, but you never know what I'm gonna post. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm gonna post sometimes. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, again, make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time I post and you don't miss another upload. Okay, bye guys!